Hi guys, it's Ray here from Man City Fan Chat. Saturday evening, it's been a hot day, hasn't it, guys? If you're anywhere, I think in the UK, I think in West London or probably around, normally it's around Heathrow, the temperature hit 34 degrees today, by far the hottest day of the year. In France yesterday, I think it was at 46 or 45 degrees, ridiculously hot. And obviously very, very dangerous as well. People are going to be really careful with that sort of heat. Let's see if anybody's online. Let's have a quick look on my thing here, and I'll have a look. So let's see who's on and how you doing, guys, today. So Brandon Wallace, how you doing, mate? Abdallah Alamami, how you doing, Abdallah? Hope you're really well. Hope you've been having good days, and as I said, if you're in the UK, hope you've enjoyed this weather. Hope it's not too hot. Hey, Football Fan Chat, you can't be live. Yep, slightly late and probably won't be too long tonight. Can't, mate. I was at cricket today. I normally do live streams at 9 o'clock now. That seems to work really well. Do get a fair few people on. So it is, mate, Football Fan Chat. Everybody's busy from time to time. Yeah, I did some early ones the week before, but I think the 9 o'clock slot kind of works for people. It just depends. You never know. If it's really worthwhile, I could do 2 streams a day. A phone in live on the stream, it's something to think about. But right now, I'm doing, I think until, let me think about it. It might be worth doing before the channel gets crazily busy. Or it might be something to do if the channel gets really busy. But I'm just thinking it might be worth doing it beforehand, just to make sure I can handle it. Anything new is, you don't know if you're going to handle it properly or not. Mukund, how you doing, mate? I hope you're really, really well. And if you've been watching the cricket, you've had a good time. I'll talk about the cricket in a few minutes, mate. It was a hot one, Mukund. I've been up since, I'll tell you now because there's 5 or 6 of you on. I was up at 4 o'clock this morning and I had a few things to do. I wanted to go for a run because I knew that we're going to eat a lot of junk today with the kids. And hey, that's what happened. It doesn't matter what intentions you have to start the day. If you're sat there with your wife and kids and they're eating sweets and ice creams and chocolates and kebabs and burgers and chips, you gotta have some of it, haven't you? Hey Cobby, how you doing, mate? Hope you're really, really well, Cobby. So my trip to Leeds, we got lucky. We really got lucky because I looked at the weather forecast and it said 29 degrees. I thought, no man, that's gonna be really hot. We went to a game a couple of years ago, Champions Trophy final in London, and it was absolutely roasting. Got absolutely soaked, and you just spent every few minutes going to get another drink or an ice cream or something to try and cool you down because we were just sat there in the blazing sun. So have a quick read of the Football Fan Chat and I'll get back to Leeds. What method would you take the calls? Just get something decent on live streaming on desktop and take calls off your phone, Sky app, and connect a speaker. Yeah, I'll look at that probably in July. But can you got last year was a lot of excitement, a lot of nerves, tension. Going to Leeds, so we were lucky because I got these tickets. You have no idea where you're going to sit, and we were sitting under one of the stands, so we were on the lower level, but we were under the stand, so we had the shade, and I think that saved us. It really did because there was a nice breeze as well, but it was really, really hot when you're out in the sun. You see people there frying, really, really difficult conditions. And so we had that. We were fortunate to have these seats under the shade. Let's have a quick read. What else we got here? So, hey Chris, you having a good day, mate? Yeah, I had a great day. What's Leeds like? Supposedly it's cheaper version. Leeds is alright. I did a couple of years in Leeds at uni there in the mid-90s. And I enjoyed it. I think it's like a lot of places. There's good and bad everywhere you go. I've been to many, many places and it's good and bad wherever you go. Good and bad, sorry. Mukund, 29 is nothing. I am sure you're talking about Liverpool's how long it's been for Liverpool not to win the title. The trip to Leeds then. So the cricket was, it's a very tense, nervous affair, very noisy and raucous, but and it looked like Pakistan were going to lose, and Afghanistan were well on top until the Afghan captain brought himself on near the end, and he was the most expensive bowler, so I was really surprised he did that, and he got carted all over the ground for 18 runs, and that was, they'd given up a lot of the control there. And Pakistan went on to win. But the game was mad. It really was, by some of the behaviour of, I have to say, mainly Afghan fans. There's a lot of trouble outside the ground on the road, in fact. Fights in the street. And apparently a lot of Afghan fans just scaled the wall to get in. So they had no tickets and just climbed over the wall and to get in into the ground from various different places. There were people there without tickets, and they were verbally abusing people and physically abusing, assaulting. There were some assaults there. It was absolutely crazy. I think, the stewards were trying to find the people who had no tickets, and were trying to eject them out. And I heard on the radio that 2 people were ejected. Well, there were a lot more than 2 people who didn't have tickets. So it was, and it did get quite nasty and dangerous, in all honesty, and a few fights here and there during the game, and at the end all hell broke loose. Proper fisticuffs, and the thing was, people were throwing plastic bottles full of whatever they were drinking. So these are very dangerous missiles, and I think people on the upper tier were throwing bottles down to the people on the lower tier. It's absolutely bonkers, and really sad that some people were throwing bottles and then legging it. Once it hit somebody, then they scarpered pretty quick so they didn't get caught. And I was doing some filming. I just filming fans after the game, and someone threw a half-full bottle in my direction, and I thought, it's going to hit me this. And it just bounced and went away, and I thought, blimey, my six-pack is coming along really well if that bottle of water's hit me and I didn't even feel it. And what actually happened was, there was a little barrier railing there just in front of me, which I hadn't seen, and it hit that and bounced away. But I saw one female steward got a bottle thrown in her face, or at her head, and it hits her on the head or in the face. And then the guy, I tried to get a picture of him, but he legged it pretty quick. My wife wouldn't. I'd already been down once and taking pictures, and when a lot of shit kicked off, and I'd already earlier in the day, about a couple of hours earlier, been threatened by one of the Afghan fans, and he said to me, if my son wasn't here, or if the kid wasn't here, I'd have sorted you out by now. I thought, real friendly. I mean, the thing is, people are in the wrong, and they want to exacerbate a situation by causing trouble. I mean, they were causing trouble all over the shop. I mean, these guys were actually blocking the gangway, so the stairs. So if there was an emergency, well, these guys, you couldn't get down because it was absolutely full. So really, it can be a very dangerous health and safety issue. They were sitting wherever they want. My wife and kids went to get something to eat, and some guy just came, saw an empty seat, and just plonked himself down. To politely ask him to move along, but they didn't care. People just didn't care. It was a little bit. It was frightening. I mean, at the end, I told my wife and other people to get their heads down. I said, people, it doesn't matter how old or young you are. If someone wants to do something, they're not going to bother. They were looking for a victim. So yeah. And hopefully the ECB and the ICC will sort this out, because it's unacceptable in supposedly a gentleman's game of cricket. Anyway, let's move on. Let's see who's making fun of Chris Welch tonight. Football fan chat, I don't really know. I've not been following much boxing at that level. I watch a little bit of, follow a little bit of heavyweight, but after that, I'm not interested anymore. I'm just past it now. Well, it's still hot here where I am. I've just closed the window so don't get the noise from some of the traffic, and that can be quite noisy if the trucks are rumbling past. But it's quite hot in here. AK850, how you doing, mate? Heard you all got a heat wave up there. How are you? And yeah, for us, it's all right. It's only, what, 27, 28 degrees. London was, what, 34, West London. France is 45, 46. And, we only moved from France last year. The schools are closing. They can't do the exams because everywhere where we used to live, it's around 40 degrees. You can't operate in, it's too hot and people will die. I mean, the last major heat wave a few years back, a few thousand people died because of the heat. Football fan chat, fan cricket. Well, the thing is, see, when we grew up, there wasn't a lot on telly, and so you played sport, and cricket was a second game. Really, it was a summer game, and you had a lot more on terrestrial TV. I think that's the big difference now. When we were kids, you'd have let's say in the summer, 5 Test match series, and the full 5 days, if it was 5 days, would be on telly. You'd have the one-day matches. They'll all be on terrestrial TV, on the BBC, so you had the opportunity to watch them. So if there's no other sport and you watch it, and you get used to it and you enjoy it, you figure out what's going on, and you learn a lot about it. Now it's on pay TV, it's on Sky, and there's so much else available that you don't fill your time with chasing sports you can't see. And I think rugby union had some of the similar problems in the past. When you start putting stuff on, sports on pay TV, the mass, population can't watch it, so it does tend to suffer. Let's have a look who else is here. Mukun, on the other hand, less than 20 degrees. 20 degrees is, I think 20 to 22 degrees is really nice. 18 to 22, I can live with that. Let's have a look. Mucking here in the summer, it can get up to 35. 35 is too hot for me, really. Chris, I prefer winter. I prefer spring and autumn. I prefer that, as I said, that temperature 18 to 22. That's really nice. Hi, the Saint. How you doing, mate? Hope you're really well. Who started the trouble? Well, I think the issue was there were some Afghanistan fans who didn't have tickets, so they. There's some video about on social media. They scaled a wall. And those are the reports as well from various different places around the ground, and they even tried to, I think, breaking through one of the main entrances. And I saw videos of them fighting with stewards and stuff. It really, really was bad. And so that's my opinion. And then once they were in the ground, there were, people said they were, assaulting people and rude and obnoxious and whatever, sitting wherever they fancied, and people feel threatened. So that's what I think happened. And then a few times during the game, there were, fights. I had a chat with one guy, and he threatened me, and people were trying to calm him down. He was just berserk, and I'm not sure he had a ticket either. So, you don't get too involved. Try to calm, and eventually, I went up and spoke to him and calmed the situation down. But he physically threatened me. He said, if the lad wasn't here, I'd have sorted you out already. I thought, yeah, charming. But he was in the wrong. He was standing on the. There were a lot of guys blocking the stairs. And because their argument was it was too hot and sunny, sitting out in the sun, so they wanted to come into the shade. Well, I've been there before, and you've got to do something. You either wear a hat to get some drinks, whatever. Look after yourself, but don't impact on other people. And what they're doing when they're sitting in the stairs, and they're actually blocking some people's views, and those people didn't say anything. I didn't notice till the end. There's a couple of women there right at the back. So obviously the last row, there's no need for a stair, and there's a couple of extra seats. They couldn't see very well, but they wouldn't say anything to anybody because you don't want to have any trouble. But these women probably paid 60 quid for those tickets. Right, it's not the amount of money you pay, but 60 quid, a fair whack for those tickets to not be able to see properly and to be scared to say anything about it. I thought that was dead wrong. And then after the game, yeah, it really kicked off. Lots and lots of bottles, half-full bottles, thrown around, hitting people all over the shop. It was ugly scenes, and as I said earlier, the ECB and the ICC have got to sort that out because what I read, the BBC report said 2 people were ejected, and the ICC called them scuffles. Believe me, they weren't scuffles. Yeah, there's people flat out fighting very angry people throwing, bottles, throwing them from the first tier to us on the lower tier, from the top tier to the lower, throwing it at people there. And sometimes they weren't even the small bottles. It might have been like a 1.5 litre bottle or something, half full with stuff. And I actually thought at one point they must have thrown somebody off because there was such a noise when one of the bottles hit a chair, one of the seats. And I thought, people were gasping, they were in shock. So we thought someone might have even been chucked off from the top tier. It was, it's not what you want to see at a cricket game. Let's have a look at some. Hey Bernard, how you doing, mate? I hope you're very well, Bernard. Yep, English Mastiff. I'll go into my two topics with Cancelo and Ivan Agulo. So let's do Cancelo. So Cancelo, now, the rumours are that Juventus want 60 million euros. And as English Mastiff has alluded to, they are going to stick to their guns, okay? Because apparently they don't need the money, okay? They don't need to spend the money. To get the money by selling players. I think they flogged somebody already, so they got some money. It takes the pressure off, any pressure off them, any pressure that was there, and they don't need to sell Cancelo. So they can just say we're going to hold out for what we want. Now, there's also the rumor that Bayern are interested. Now, I suspect, the Bayern interest could just be made up. Yeah. Suddenly Bayern are interested. Why? Bayern have spent a lot of money already. And if they're going to buy Leroy Sané, they're going to have no money left. So I think the Bayern Munich interest is a red herring so that they try and force City's hand to pay the 60 million. Now, I'm under the impression City want to pay 50 million. Okay? But 60 million it's just too much. But we'll see. It's one of those, another one that we have to wait and see what happens. The Saint, trouble at the cricket. I thought they might. There was a potential for trouble at this game. I didn't see any coppers. There was just stewards there. And the problem sometimes with the stewards, they're ineffective, especially the ones who are on like the minimum wage or not much more, very little experience. Sometimes I've heard you can do a short course of maybe even a day and get on some register or be accepted as a steward. Now, I don't think that's enough, because what they have to deal with is very, very difficult. And I could see the inexperienced ones really struggle to deal with problems. Bernard, the Puma thing is by invitation only. Fantastic. Now, I've been, trying to follow this, and so it's a worrying thing. It really is a worrying thing. I said it a few days ago that it's at 9 o'clock. Bugsy Malone thing. It's at 9 o'clock, and if the unveils at midnight, on a Sunday night, school on Monday, who's going to go down at 9 o'clock? And now if it's going to be by invitation, I'm like, come on, and. Is it because City want to control the first thing and to make it look busy? Because if you open up to everybody and only a couple of hundred people turn up, the event might not look that great. Yeah, so, I don't like that idea. It's so who's going to be invited? Yeah, journalists. I have no idea who's going to be invited. But why can't you invite all your season ticket holders and any fan that's interested to come along to something in City Square at a reasonable time? Do it on Sunday. Do it at 1 o'clock on Sunday. Why not? We're your fans. We're the kind of people who are going to buy this kit. So think about it just for a change. But I'll be honest, some of the stuff that the club does on the City Store side of things, City Store is not run by Man City. I think it's an external party, whether it's Kitbag or somebody else. Somebody else manages that, and they're trying to think of a polite word. They're not very good at all. They're inefficient, ignorant. This is from a couple of incidents. Ignorant of what's happening. They're not sharing information with each other. They don't know what's going on, and sometimes you feel like they're blatantly lying to you because they don't know the answer to something. I mean, I did a video last year. You might see it's a really bad experience at the City store, and they were just taking the mick. Really were a waste of a Sunday morning. My wife weren't pleased. She likes to lie in on a Sunday, but we were there. I think at the City store, was it 9 o'clock in the morning or 10 o'clock? It really wasn't a good experience. And then, we had the Mahrez unveiling, and I'm actually thinking, what's the point? I love City. I follow City. I do videos on City, and I'm thinking, do I really want to waste my time? And if this Bugs Malone thing was open to everybody, would I really want to turn up at 9 o'clock and wait for whatever surprises they've got until we get to midnight? I'm not so sure I would. I'd rather we're going to unveil at midnight, past 11, and I'm way behind and I can't see much. That's my choice. But I don't, it doesn't sound good. And invitation, you can see the long standing fan is being relegated further and further and further away, to the point that, people will start saying, you don't care about us, so why should we care about you? Why should we pay our money to watch you? That's where clubs generally have got the fans over a barrel, because the fans want to watch the football. It's their team. It's not the current owners. It's the community. It's the people who've been supporting the club for 50, 60, 70 years. So it's not good at all. Let's have a look what Solotar. Hey mate, how you doing? English Massive, Pakistan killed. Well, I thought Afghanistan were going to win for a long period of that game. Pakistan were going to win because Afghanistan had the weakest team in the competition. But it was a very, very hard game, and we'll see. England play tomorrow against India, knowing that they need to win to keep their fate in their own hands. So it'll be very, very interesting to see what happens. Get out of it, EM. You're certainly not cold, mate. Bernardine loved watching Test match on BBC. Yeah, I absolutely loved it. The summer, I just used to plonk the TV on just before 11 and sit there all day long and watch the cricket. That's it. Nobody could touch that TV all day long. When my dad would come home, because my dad was a pretty decent level cricketer, played in the Central Lancashire League, which in those days was a very high standard. A lot of professionals played there from the West Indies and around the world. My dad was playing in there as well, so he's a good level. So I used to chat them games. Atletico bid for João Felix in EM. There you go. So they must have got some money from somewhere. English Mastiff. Very interesting. Aeon Genesis. I went to Leeds. I went to see that cricket match. It was very enjoyable, tense and enjoyable. So what Mucken's saying. So Mucken is saying, where's Mucken gone? I'm not sure any of the top team was Cancelo, even looking at him back. Exactly. I mean, I don't think Bayern wants him. I think it's just a red herring to try and make City think, oh no, Bayern are interested, we'll have to pay more money. I don't agree with that. I don't think that's the case. Brendan Wallace, I honestly don't know. And I don't think it's reviled. I think it's revealing. To be honest, I've not been following it that much. I just saw that Bugs Malone thing, and it's by invitation only. So, I mean, am I going to stay up till midnight to look at the kit if it's revealed on YouTube or anything? I'm not so sure. I mean, I probably would be up between 11 and 12 is when I try and get to bed. Sometimes it might be between 12 and 1. So I might stay up to watch it. If there's something, I'll check it tomorrow. Obviously, I've got a whole day to check what's going down. And if something's happening, then I'll nip into the City store tomorrow, because I'm in Manchester I'm supposed to go with both my lads for this percussion class, but one said he doesn't want to go. He's too tired and he doesn't want to do it. So the other one is eager to do it, so I'll take him. And when I drop him off, I've got 2.5 hours to kill. So normally I just walk into Manchester. I might take a drive, or could I walk from there? I could probably walk from there to Etihad. Cobby, any transfer updates? Well, obviously I mentioned the Cancelo one already, and the second one, Rodri. Let's see tomorrow night if it gets announced. Apparently, City have bid €6 million for Palmeiras striker Ivan Agudo. I read this tonight. Apparently, it's been rejected. He's a Colombian striker. It's been rejected because they only just got him. They made his, I think, something to do with a loan deal. So they only made a €3 million profit on him immediately. But I believe the issue is for them. They think he's going to be worth a lot more than €6 million. So they may be hoping to hold on to him for 1 or 2 more years. 34 if he progresses. So it's been very interesting to see. As usual, that's one of my phrases. Very interesting to see what happens with this kid, Ivan Agulo, to see whether we can get him from Palmeiras and whether let's accept the story as true, that we've put a bid in of €6 million, but nothing's coming from it. Yeah, Pakistan should be beating Afghanistan, not leaving it so late. He's still got his hay fever. I hope you can get either medication or the pollen count drops a little bit for you, Chris. Thank you, Wayne. Thank you very much for your kind words. EM, yeah, it's interesting. Liverpool haven't got anybody. I said to Chris before, I think Liverpool need a couple of players. And I think they need an attacking midfield. Definitely an attacking midfielder. Definitely someone who can create. At the moment, they rely on their front three, so I think they need someone who can create and someone to replace Firmino. I don't think he's good enough. But hey, that's their problem, not ours. Reg, how you doing, mate? Reg Hardy's on the line. I'm not going to try not to stay on too long, guys. Another 5 or 10 minutes or something, because it's a really hot one. I've been up since 4 o'clock, and then tomorrow I'm taking my line 6 o'clock in the morning. So it's tiring work, and I got to somehow find the time to nip to my mum's house in the morning before I take my kid to Manchester. So that's going to be hard work. Pakistan are unpredictable at cricket. Chris is saying that a lot of stuff is clickbait rumours out there, but for many of the top teams, like Chris in it, they won't buy Coutinho back. That ship has sailed. Coutinho wasn't worth 130, 140 million quid. In all honesty, he wasn't worth 60, maybe 60, but 80 tops. He certainly wasn't worth the money that Barcelona paid for him. I don't know what they were doing. I think they had that, obviously, and they were spending big money on players like Ousmane Dembele and this Coutinho. So they spent a lot of money on these players. I think it was at least 250 million quid on the two of them. So, but I don't think any of them have hit the mark, and I think it's partly to do with the shock of the suddenness of Neymar leaving and trying to replace him with what they don't seem to fit into the way Barcelona are doing things and are not really delivering on or fulfilling their potential. EM, we have a short transfer window, so rest of Europe going to know what we'll be shopping spree before. 9th of August isn't that far away, so get on with it, guys. I think everybody wants something to happen. Yeah, Chris, the Liverpool Coutinho was far better than the Barcelona one. They don't want to lose a lot of the deal, so I can't see that happening. Mike James, Liverpool should buy Timo Werner. Yeah, I'm sure clubs. Yeah, there's a lot of players out there that Liverpool could buy. I think they could do with, as I said, another striker and maybe another defender at centre back. If Gomez is injured or isn't properly ready, who's going to partner Van Dijk? Lovren? I'm not. But as I said, an attacking midfielder of some sorts, and maybe someone to replace Bobby Firmino. Right, 2 more minutes, guys. It's going to be a quick one tonight, as I said. I've been on for half an hour. We've done the 2 bits of business or pieces of information, and we've thrown in the third one about the kit launch. Yeah, Mike, Coutinho flopped at Barca. No news on the stand expansion, Mike. It's been in this limbo for a year or two now, where some of us believe that they're waiting to get this safe standing ruling or safe standing allowed in stadiums before they do the expansion to the North Stand, so that they could incorporate maybe rail seats, for instance, or look at other ways to maintain the safety of the fans with safe. There's going to be a lot going on at the same time, but it's going to be linked to safe standing. So I think that we'll wait on the expansion. Man, I'm really tired, guys. My back. If you could see, if I'd take my glasses off, I'd be asleep. Liverpool only need a proper playmaker. Yeah, well, that's what I said. That's the minimum they need. Yeah, and anything else would be a bonus. Creative midfielder and another forward. There you go. You got Divock Origi, mate. Divock Origi. Paul, how you doing? Watching Liam Gallagher at Glastonbury playing a few West Classics. I'm just about to hit the sack, mate. I've been up since 4 and roasting, all day long, taking the family over to Leeds, then just coming back. And then I have to go to my mum's house. I rolled in at 10 to 9. So basically, I had about half an hour sit down at my mum's, have a brew and something to eat, and then come back here. So I've been on the go since for about 6. English Master Coutinho being played in wrong position at Barca, needs to be number 10. Yeah, but there's no way they're going to let Coutinho roam when they've got Messi roaming. I'm not sure what to watch tomorrow, cricket, MotoGP or F1. Well, it's going to be a combination of the reasons are: which do you like the most? Do you have any specific preference? Which is at an exciting juncture? Stages of the season, so it's really, really exciting to see what happens. I don't think it is. I think we've got plenty of time to go for that. So MotoGP, same question. Cricket, the cricket's got a lot hanging on it. For England's qualification currently is in their own hands, but should they lose to India tomorrow, then it's not in their own hands. And team in Pakistan could overtake them. I'm not even sure if Sri Lanka can overtake. You never know. England might just come up and go bang, bang, win the next 2 games, win the semi-final, win the final, and just win 4 games on the bounce and walk away with the World Cup. Mukun says, so when will Origi get his statue, Chris? He deserves it. He deserves it for that goal against Barcelona that got Liverpool through. Wayne MCFC, cheers for the hope you and your family enjoy. My wife are going to stay at home tomorrow, and my eldest is going to go for this music course. So that's going to be me out of the house from about 8:30, 8:45 in the morning, and we won't get back till probably at least 2 o'clock. And then we've got a few hours to. My wife wants my assistants to help do some tidying up, and then she's off in the evening back. So I have to either to the long day, man. They never seem to end at the moment. Last couple of questions, then it's Betty Buys for me, guys. MotoGP is for sure the most exciting right now. Aston GP last season was a belter. I'm glad you're enjoying it, Mukund. I haven't watched it for ages. I actually saw a clip on Twitter today of someone who his bike twitched twice, and so he recovered the. He lost it again, and as I said, I'm not a big. I'm not very keen on motorbikes. Actually, riding them myself, or as a pillion. So MotoGP is Mike James's favourite. So I can say the most is most exciting right now. English match backup. Yeah, we're needing a backup. But if we get Cancelo, there you go. If Danilo stays, then he's covered as well. So I'm not too worried about it, but I do think we need somebody. Chris Welch, I watch F1 since Lewis Hamilton dominant. Yeah, it's usually the guy with the best car, not the best driver. The washing machine quite today. Yeah, I'm in the attic, mate. I'm in two attics, so a nice big space here. It's my wife's, which I just dump loads of stuff in because my attic is even more full. She keeps asking me to tidy it up and set it up properly as a studio, a stroke office, and I keep saying I will, but I haven't. But it's something to do for over the summer. Last question, Mike James. Did you hear about Andres and Murillo from Cruzeiro? He's just signed a 5-year. You know, I'll be honest here. I'll be honest. I never did a video about Murillo. It's my choice. Never did it. I just thought that was a red herring story. Link him to City, bump up the price somewhere else for the agent, for his commission, for the transfer fee, and obviously for the commission. I think I'm sorry, I lost me. Yeah, the Murillo. So sorry, I was saying, link him to City, bump up the price for the club that's getting him, bump up the commission to the agent. I said that already. And the third one is to bump up his wages if you need to, and try to force other clubs to their hand to think, oh no, there's that interest there. We're going to have to move quickly and get it done. So yeah, I thought it was a weak story. Other people thought it was a much stronger story, and it's a cheap dig to get a few clicks. Let's talk about it. People love to know what's going on in transfers, so let's put it out there and get people clicking and viewing for a crappy story, in my opinion. See you, Chris. Have a good Saturday. If I don't catch you tomorrow, have a good weekend. I'm going to play PS with my grandson. Yeah, you need good luck with these kids now. I play Mario Kart 8, and I don't because I had a big gap, probably months I didn't play it with them, and from winning against them quite comfortably, now it's even Stevens, and they're probably better than me. So I'm not so keen on playing with them anymore because they'll keep stuffing me. Good night, Bernard. Have a good night, mate. Good night to you, English Mastiff, as well. See you, Mike. I'm absolutely goosed. Nice. Can't keep me. You probably gathered that by some of the rubbish I've come out with, but thanks for coming on tonight. You know, I know it's hot and sweaty and wet and everything else, and it feels like it's gonna be a really sticky night. I'm just gonna get myself a drink and then hit the sack. Guys, take it easy, and we'll catch up tomorrow.